I don't know why I do this to myself. I hate being rushed, and yet I always rush myself. What up, guys? Welcome back. It's Saturday. It's kind of cold outside, and the drag strip's open. I'm trying to take the Mustang out, and the gate's open in 3 hours. What time is it? I don't know, like 3 hours. And I need to be gone in about 30 minutes. I don't have the car loaded yet. I don't know where all my stuff's at. I don't know why I do this to myself. It sucks because it's 2 hours and 2.5 hours of the drag strip, basically. So I'm gonna get this thing loaded up and yeah, let's see what happens. All right, guys, I made it out here to the track. Got the old Bloods thing out here. It's gonna be our first test session of the year. I think this is actually their second test day here at the track. So we're gonna get the car unloaded, just kind of check it over, do a couple things, and then we'll go up, try and get our first test pass in. All right, guys, we're gonna go up, try and make our first test pass. Got the car on 8 pounds of dome pressure on the brake, and then 10 pounds of dome overall. So hopefully it'll make 8 pounds on the brake and about 10 pounds of boost down the track, with a little bit soft boost ramp, and then we'll just see how this goes. So I didn't bring any cameras for the inside of the car, so I'm not gonna have any footage from the inside, but hopefully we'll get some outside footage, and I'll throw that in here as well. Because this thing just destroyed the tires. I don't know what this slip's going to look like, but I have left on the brake, it spun the tires, I shifted in the second, well I pedaled it and then shifted in the second, and didn't do me any favors, so I had to pedal it a little bit, but we'll get the slip here and see what it looks like. Alright, guys, so first pass. Went 660 at 113, spin them tires a bunch. Still coasted at 1050. So I'll pull this log and see what it looks like. That log is pretty trash. Lots of pedaling going on here in first. It made 11.2 pounds. There in a couple spots. Target was 10. It pretty much was 10.9, 10. Half 11. So obviously there's a lot going on, because when I pedaled it, obviously the boost controller was trying to catch itself, and it would make like 20 some pounds of dome pressure. Target dome taken away, so I was on and off the gas a bunch, so it was doing all kinds of funny stuff. See, there's 27 pounds. It made 2 pounds of dome, or 2 pounds of boost. Target dome was 9.6, so it was trying to catch itself. I think the suspension needs some adjusting. I'll probably add a couple clicks on the rebound and a couple clicks on the compression. It came up really fast and settled down really fast, so I'm gonna try and make a couple changes. I'm gonna leave everything else the same. Ain't no sense in throwing more power at it because it didn't do anything. I mean, it only made 4 pounds on the brake. I wasn't on it real long, so it 3100. I went full throttle. Yeah, I made 4.5 pounds. So I'm gonna make a front end change, a shock change, and we'll try this again. All right, so talked to one of my buddies. He's a Mexico street racer. Kind of gave me some ideas on some changes to make. I think I really need to make a rear shock change, but one of the knobs on the rear shock is broken, so I can't mess with the rebound on that rear shock or extension or whatever you want to call it. I can't mess with it on the rear shock, so I'm going to leave that alone. I am going to drop the tire pressure like 2 pounds, and then try and get it down around 18. I started a little high anyway, so maybe that hurt me as well. And I didn't do a very good burnout. I only got into second gear. I normally try and go into high gear. So better burnout, 2 pounds of tire pressure on the rear down. And then I went full tight on the compression in the front. I had like 15 clicks. I think there's 19 clicks. So I went to all full tight to try and keep the front end up and not let it come down too fast. So we're gonna try that, see what happens. But those are the only changes we made this pass. So upload the tune-up back in it, and I'm gonna go up there and try and make another hit. Sucked as well. As far as how the car acted, it did exactly pretty much the same. Only difference is I pedaled it a little differently when it came out of the hole. 60 foot got a little better. I did change the shock in the front. I went full tight on the compression to try and slow down how fast it would want to come down and settle. And it helped. It felt like it helped even in the car. But it's still, the rear suspension's moving too fast. I need to do something with the rear. I kind of have half a mind to leave in second, band-aid the fact that I don't know shit about suspension tuning. I'm probably only going to do 1 or 2 more passes at this point. And maybe only 1 actually. So I'm trying to decide what I need to do. I've always been told you got to hit a radial tire hard, and maybe that'd help. Maybe that would help keep the weight back. You know, and just beat the shit out of that tire. That's an option. Leaving second to try and band-aid the shitty suspension. That might help. Damn it, I don't know what to do. What would you all do in this situation? You got crappy suspension, a really nice tire, a shitty car, and a terrible driver. What would you do? I don't know. But the car went 159, 60 foot that second pass, and then 649 at 114. This thing mile an hour is like a son of a biscuit. Top of third gear, it made 10.8, so it's still 10, 11 pounds. Still showing 10 pounds of dome. I did soften the ramp so it wouldn't come in so hard. Maybe that helped a little bit. I don't know. It's so hard to get solid data when the car won't even leave the starting line. Everything that you change outside of that is just worthless because you got to get the ball rolling before you can do anything. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, first pass I went at 666, and then that pass I went at 649. First one was 113, that one was 114 mile an hour. Same boost pressure, everything, same leave RPM, same dome pressure on the leave. Part of me just wants to try and hit it harder. You know, try and hit it with 8, 9, 10 pounds. It should make 8 or 9 right now because I got it on 8 pounds on the dome, on the brake, but it's only seeing like 5 pounds because I'm not sitting on it for a real long time. So I may just throw 10 on the dome, see what it makes, and just try and hit this thing hard as hell. That might be my only option. I don't know. I don't know what to do. But I'm gonna look at this data log, double check. I mean, this thing's got tons of oil pressure. I mean, everything looks pretty solid. You know, it spikes a little on the boost pressure on the gear change. You know, it'll hit like 11.5 pounds on the gear change, and then it'll catch itself, and then it kind of levels off. I don't know what my laptop's doing. Yeah, and then it kind of levels off, 10, 10 and a half, 10, 10 and a half, 10 and a half, 10, 8, 10 and a half. So 10 pounds of dome, it's making about 10, 10 and a half pounds. All right, so I loaded a new tune-up. This one, I think I'm just gonna hit the shit out of it. I raised the two-step 150 and raised the trans brake dome pressure from 8 pounds to 12 pounds and then 12 pounds overall the whole run. I'm just gonna send it. Granted, this isn't, 12 pounds isn't a whole lot of power. It's probably like, I don't know, 650 horse. But I'm gonna try and hit it hard, keep the weight back, and just keep the momentum going by just hammering this thing. So yeah, I don't know. We're gonna give it a shot, see what happens. This thing definitely is gonna have to have some real coilovers bought for it, which means that's gonna take a while because those damn things are expensive. Or I'm gonna take these off, send them in, and get them looked at and see if Strange can do something to them. Or maybe I can send them to somebody that rebuilds shocks and have them look at them. I don't know. But it's definitely gonna have to happen before we take this thing out again, because I'm not gonna continue to do this, trying to band-aid the fact that it has shitty suspension. This same thing happened last year at the end of the year when I took it out the last time, and I don't even think I posted the video of it because it kept doing this. And I tried 3 passes that day and I couldn't get it to leave the starting line. It just pissed me off. And this is the one thing I didn't attempt to do, was try and hit it really hard. Radial tires like to be hit hard, so I'm gonna hit it hard. But I'm gonna load this tune up in it, check the brake, see what kind of boost it makes on the trans brake, and then we're just gonna send it. All right, well, this is probably gonna be our 3rd and final pass, and it's not looking too promising. Not being able to adjust the rear suspension really sucks, and I need to better understand the bar angle stuff for the rear suspension. I don't understand that stuff, the anti-squat and all that, and it's just something I'm gonna have to learn. It's gonna be a learning curve for me, and I just need to get my head in it and pay attention to some of that stuff and learn it, and hopefully better understand it and be able to get this thing to go down the track. But I'm just gonna try and hit it hard this run and see what happens. Well, we made our 3rd pass. Same thing. Spun the tire. I pedaled it once, planted it, and just let it go. It pretty much spun all the way through 2nd. Thank you. Yep. 60 foot got slower, but it went, I think mile an hour is like, well, I guess I added more boost, that's why. I went 116 there. I had it on 12 pounds of dome pressure, but it still only went a 162 60 foot, so it slowed down the 60 foot. But I went 633, 116. I ran it out the back and coasted a 982 at 127. I honestly probably could have ran it out the quarter. This thing's on so little power, but well, that was our day at Mocan Dragway yesterday, and we made 3 passes. Didn't really get I guess we made progress. It started out like running a 660, we left running a 630, so we picked up 3 numbers. So I guess it's not a terrible loss, but it sure would have been nice to get some really good data and see some real progress on the 60 foot. I can't be too discouraged, because this is exactly what it did last year, the last time I took it out, when it still had the 6.2 in it, and it did the exact same thing. Just would not get out of its own way. It's all in the suspension. I probably could have made some bar changes. I probably could have took some angle out of the lower bar to get it to not hit the tire so hard, and that might have got me a better 60 foot, might not have. I don't know. You know, 3 passes. I'm not good at when it comes to like suspension tuning and stuff, because the front wheel drive stuff wasn't really this difficult. You just added weight over the nose and put a stiff spring in the back, and that was pretty much it. And as far as the boost level goes, I've just gotten so lucky with that thing that it just works really well. There's not a lot of adjustability, so it makes it really simple. The Mustang, on the other hand, has tons of adjustability and makes it very difficult. And I don't like difficult. I like to keep my stuff simple. I mean, the car itself is still simple, but, you know, it's just a learning curve for me because I don't know enough about it. I don't have enough seat time. I don't have enough suspension tuning with this car, this setup. So I think mainly I'm going to keep this setup in the car. You know, the motor and stuff, it's going to stay the same. I want to try and utilize what I have and make the best of it. You know, you can go out and you can make 1,000 horsepower, but if you can't use it, it's worthless. So all that horsepower does you no good. One thing we did, we were trying to leave on like 4 pounds. This thing makes like 450 horsepower on 4 pounds, and it couldn't get out of the hole. There was cars making way more power than we were getting off the line, not spinning the tire on the same tire we run yesterday. So it wasn't a track issue. It was a me issue and a car issue, because the car's not set up right for that tire. That car is set up for a 26 8-inch slick. Worked really good on that. It doesn't work good on a 28-inch radial. Entirely different tire, entirely different suspension setup. But we'll get back at it. I am going to make some changes to it. I know everybody's going to be like, why would you do that? Because you've got other things you need to worry about. I am going to change the rear gear in it. I went back and forth with it. I think a lot of my issues is the starting line ratio with that 411 isn't ideal for a radial tire car. So I think it has a really hard time trying to... The rear suspension anyways has a really hard time trying to control it, because the 411 basically makes it think that thing has more torque than it does, and it tries to cram the tire in the pavement, which is fine on a small slick, but it's not on this radial. So I am going to change the rear gear. I'm going to put a longer rear gear in it, so it makes it a little less aggressive on the hit. I'll make it a little more controllable, and we'll go from there. I need to do some research on instant center and all that stuff. I don't know shit about it, but I need to learn. So that's what I'm gonna look into next. I might have to raise the ride height up, which sucks because I like my shit sitting low because it looks G. But it's not fast. So function or form, you know, you take your pick. I could have both, but it would cost a lot of money, and I'm not doing it. So if I got to raise it up to get the car to work, then I'll just raise the damn thing up. But anyways, that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Thanks for watching. Keep following along. Go check out the merch store. I literally don't sell anything on the merch store unless I buy it, and I think a few of my close friends have bought off there. Nobody has bought anything that I know of off the channel. So if you have bought something off the channel, leave a thumbs up. I don't know. It would just be cool to know that people, you know, buy stuff for the channel to support. It helps. Thank you. We'll see you guys later.